Assalamu alaikum. It's been a while, I know. It's halfway, more than halfway, of the month of Shaban, and we're getting closer to Ramadan. So I wanted to switch things up a little bit and give you something very special. Today we're going to talk about qadar. And qadar is something that most of you have heard in passing. Those of you who are not Muslim who watch my channel probably don't know anything, and those of you who are Muslim, you know less, because it's not usually taught in English. You know, if you're an Arabic speaker, you read Arabic. Even then, it's not really discussed much because it's so special. But that's why I'm going to give it to you now, because it's a special time for us. Now, we were somehow a victim of child abuse in our school system when we were young. They used to make us choose, well, not as children, we were in college, any Western civilization course that you took, which was mandatory, if I recall. We all had to take Western Civ 1 and 2. And in those courses, we were fed so much nonsense, lies, actually. But the worst one was the choice we were required to make between free will and predestination. And the way it was taught, I'm not saying it was a deliberate cover up. Well, I'm fasting. I have to beware of my tongue and only say the best things. Let's just say that Martin Luther was he was a priest. So the story goes. And then he was caught in a thunder and lightning storm, thrown off his horse, and was knocked in the head and became a Protestant after that. And this was in Germany. And Martin Luther was well known for believing in the subject of predestination or free will. I want you to research this, because there was another man at the same time who chose the predestination, John Calvin, and he was from Switzerland, and Martin Luther was from Germany. So there was, you can say, right off the bat, there was a distinction on which type of Protestant minister you preferred. I think I have to do a special channel about Martin Luther, really, because he deserves it. He founded something called the Lutheran religion, and they are still very much recognized in America, and they are, you can say, considered moderate, and they are mainly in the Swedish, Norwegian countries, Sweden, Norway, Finland. But you know, the Protestants, they're everywhere, and they're much closer to Islam in many ways. You know, this is subject about qadr, but I can't help but preface this to you, because this is one of the essential 6, we call it the arkan al-iman, the 6 major beliefs in Islam that you must believe in. And this is not the 5 of Islam, this is the 6 of iman, which should come before the 5 of Islam. Because how are you going to accept to pray and fast and make hajj and pay zakat, and you can say this is the 5 arkan? It means like building blocks of your Islam. Why would you even think to do that until you first knew the 6 building blocks of iman, which is your faith? Now, the last one is the subject of القضاء والقدر, and that's what we're going to do today. القضاء والقدر. I have a book. It's called Kitab al-Tawhid, and it was written a couple of hundred years ago, and I have the sharh of Sheikh Uthaymin from Saudi Arabia. Not that that means anything to any of you, because I know most of you listening don't really understand what I'm talking about. You don't care. But you should care, because for me, this book, Kitab al-Tawhid, is right after Quran. This is what you have to study, because yes, we have hadith, yes, we have fiqh, yes, we have seerah. But in my world, I advise anyone, number 1 and forever is Quran. So you study Quran, you learn Arabic, you memorize some small surah that you can pray with, And at the same time, you must be learning about Tawheed and the oneness of Allah, the magnificence of Allah, and what He orders you to do. So this Qada wa Qadar comes at the end. It's the last, it's number 6 of Sitta Arkan al-Iman. And it's the most poorly understood because most masajids don't even go there. And most Christians never even heard about it except in the wrong way. You know, you could say the wrestling match between predestination and free will. So I'm going to go slowly but surely. Let's see. 5 minutes. Yeah, I can do this in, I think, 25 minutes or less because I don't want to prolong it. I want to make it doable for you and make it so wonderful and intriguing and captivating that you're going to say, oh, please do more about Qada wa Qadar. And this is specifically, the chapter is called what is revealed, or what is, you can say, concerning Munkari al-Qadar, the people who deny Qadar. And this chapter is built on that. But before it and after it, there's much more about Qadar. And so let's begin without further ado. Maratib al-Qadar. Maratib means how we arrange it, you know, in a, let's say, a thematic approach. So here he's doing it 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of what we call, I'm just using an English word for you now, fate or destiny. And therein lies the issue, because the way it was phrased and taught to us, it was like a neither here nor there. It was just taught wrongly because it was not taught with Tawheed. It was taught to us in university by either Jewish or Christian teachers who didn't even understand what Qada wa Qadr is. So they kept using these 2 words. Al-Mukhayyar means free will, and Al-Musayyir means predestination. So right there, I'm giving you the Arab terminology for those listeners who might know Arabic. They will know when I say al-mukhayyar or al-musayyar, they'll know what it means. So for you all Americans, my fellow Americans and revert converts, you can use that classification. But after I get done with this page and a half, that's all. You're going to say, wait a minute, that's not really what it's all about, is it? You're going to get it, inshallah, by what I want to tell you right now. I'm going to read from the book and translate it my way. I'm going to loosely translate it because I'm not reading from any translation. Okay, so let's start. Number 1. وهي 4 يجب الإيمان بها كلها. These are 4 that you must believe in all of them. Number 1. المرتبة الأولى العلم. The word علم means to know something, knowledge of something. وذلك بأن تؤمنوا بأن الله تعالى علم كل شيء جملة وتفصيلا. Allah knows everything, as a whole or in details, and in details. He knows everything. فعلم ما كان وما يكون. He knows what was past and what is in the future. فكل شيء معلوم لله. All of it is known to Allah. سواء كان دقيقا أو جليلا من الأفعاله أو أفعال خلقه. Now this is essential right here. Allah knows everything, whether it be infinitesimally tiny or amazingly overall the huge subject of His deeds or the deeds of His creation. Now look at this phraseology. أفعاله, His deeds, أو أفعال خلقه. Allah knows what He's doing, and He knows what you're doing. Simple so far? Let's go on. ودليل ذلك في الكتاب كثير. There are many proofs of this in the Quran. منها, and now we give you a Quranic verse, which I will translate. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعنده مفاتيح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو ويعلم ما في البر والبحر وما my eyes slowly degrading and وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. This verse is a very famous verse. It's from Surah Al-An'am, verse 59. Allah has the keys of the unseen, and no one knows the unseen except Allah. And He knows everything on the dry land or in the sea. He knows every leaf that will fall from every tree, whether it be a seed in the deepest, darkest part of the earth, whether it be a moist something or other, seed or leaf, wala yabisin, or a dried up, shriveled up leaf, other than it is in a clear book. فالأوراق التي تتساقط ميتة أي ورقة كانت صغيرة أو كبيرة في بحر أو بر. Allah knows leaves when they fall, whether they are falling large or small, in the earth or in the sea. فإن الله تعالى يعلمها والورقة التي تخلق بعلمها من باب الأولى. Because He created the leaves, it's His creation. So this knowledge is for Him, you can say, first and foremost. Now, I once heard a lecture by an enemy of Allah. I don't want to say much more than that, but it was before I was Muslim. I was in the university, and this person was saying, oh, these Arabs, they're so strange, they're so weird, they're incontrollable, they're very... In other words, it was degrading to the Middle East. And he was saying, what are you going to do with people who actually believe in their holy book, the Quran? This professor is saying this in America now. People who believe that Allah knows every leaf that falls from every tree? What are you going to do with people like that? And I'm sitting there, I wasn't a Muslim yet. I'm sitting there in my mini skirt in the lecture hall saying, well, yeah, I believe that. That makes sense. Because I was raised by Catholic nuns. And they did teach us that after a fashion. Not in depth or in detail, but yes, they did. Let's go on. ولاحظ سعاية العلم الله واسع سعاية. It means He's so wide in his everything, our perception, our conception. No, Allah's knowledge, it's called ilm, is very wide. And that's why He's starting here with the level called ilm. وإحاطته, and He surrounds it. إحاطة. So, فلو فرض أنه في ليلة مظلمة ليس فيها قمر. Imagine we're in the darkest of night, no light from the moon. وفيها سحاب متراكم مطر, and there's clouds and there's rain. وهب في قاعة البحر عميق, and there is inside the depths of the ocean a small speck. فهذه ظلمات متعددة, all kinds of shades and shadows. Does it matter? No, because this ظلم البحر وظلمة السحاب وظلمة المطر, all of these things like the clouds and the rain and the shadows of the depth of the ocean, وظلمة أمواج, and the waves, but وظلمة the darkness of night, كل هذا داخل في قوله تعالى. All of this is in the words of Allah, وَلَا هَبَّةٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ, which we mentioned. So it doesn't matter where it is on the earth or how dark the earth is. وَلَا رَتْبٍ, nothing moist. وَلَا يَابِسٍ, nothing dried. إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. All of this is in a clear book. وَلَا كِتَابَ إِلَّا بَعْدَ الْعِلْمِ. Now here is the key. What book are you talking about? What do you mean written in a book? Now we're going on to the second level. And this is called Al-Martabat al-Thaniya. The second level is called Al-Kitaba, the writing. And the proof of that is, he mentioned it before, he's mentioning it again. أَلَمْ تَعْلَمُ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ فِي كِتَابِ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرٌ. This is Surah Al-Hajj, verse 7. وَفِي الْآيَةِ أيضا, also in this verse that's talking about writing, إثبات العلم وإثبات الكتاب. This is certifying with Allah's words in the Quran the concept of knowledge and writing. And we know that writing, kitaba, comes after knowledge. So when you've heard about something called Lawhun Mahfuz, above the highest heaven, a preserved tablet upon which is written every single deed of humankind and other than humankind, every deed is written on this Lawhun Mahfuz, which is up above the seventh heaven with Allah. It's amazing, I know. And this is why most people, when they first hear about qadar, they say, huh? Well, if you're praying and you're a Muslim, Allah will let it sink in your head and your heart right away. Right away. Because why not? He's Allah. Are we going to use human gauges to try to understand how? No. Kun for yakun. Allah just says be and it is. That's what I'm hoping you're going to gather from this lesson, which is half finished. After this, we get something called al-Mashiach. And Mashiach means, you know when we say Insha'Allah, Insha'Allah, Mashiach, hear it? Sha'a, Shi'a. It means Allah's willing for something to happen. So you see the levels. First Allah knows, then he writes, then he wills that it's going to happen, and lastly, the event. It's called al-Khalq. He creates the event that he's determined is going to occur. So these are the last two now, al-Mashiach, and then the last one is going to be al-Khalq. Khalq means creation. So now we'll go slowly because we still have a few more minutes because I want you to really get it. And then tomorrow, the next day, I'll go on with other things about qadar in the book because I love it. And I hope you will too, because it explains everything that's happening. Especially the times we're living in now is very, maybe a little bit difficult to understand. But here we are. The Mashiach. وهي عامة. In general, we're saying, ما من شيء في السماوات والأرض, nothing in the earth or skies, إلا وهو كائن بإرادة إله ومشيئته. Everything depends on Allah's will that it's going to happen and his wanting it to happen. And as we know, Allah sometimes allows things to happen that he does not love. That's another very important principle in qadar. Because then people are going to say, oh, childhood cancer and so forth. We'll talk about all that later, I promise. And you'll understand. And you won't go around saying things that some enemies argue about, well, he's not a merciful Allah. Jesus is all love. Just wait. Just stay with me. Oh, Allah. You want to talk about Jesus? Jesus is one of his creations, a wonderful prophet whom we love and accept. But he's not Allah. All right, let's go on now. فلا يكون في ملكه ولا يريد أبدا سواء كان ذلك فيما يفعل بنفسه أو بفعل مخلوق. It doesn't matter if it's something he does, which he wills and wants, or something that his creation does, which he wills and wants. Because nobody does anything unless Allah allows it. And this one is very, well, they're all equally great, but this is the one that might cause some people some problems. But inshallah, I'll fix them, inshallah, for you. As I read this book. Oh, so beautiful. The ilm of Islam needs to be exposed more, and I don't know why, what's happening, but Allah will open it. He will. All right, call, and this is in the Quranic verse. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. Anything, any affair, simply Allah says be and it is when He wants it to be. It is. Another verse. وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ مَا فَعَلُوا. If Allah had willed or wanted, this thing would not be. So this is from Surah Al-An'am, verse, the first part was from, he's not telling you. It's from Surah Al-An'am, verse 112. Another one. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا أَفْعَلَ الَّذِينَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ. If Allah had willed, then this wouldn't have happened. He's speaking of an event. And this is in Surah Baqarah, verse 253. Now we're on the last, Al-Martabat al-Rabi', the last one. It's called Al-Khalq, the creation. فَمَا مِن شَيْءٍ مِنَ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِلَّا اللَّهُ خَلَقُ. Allah creates anything that is in the earth and skies. Not only did He khalaqahu, وَمَالِكَهُ, He possesses it. وَمُدَبَّرَهُ, and He arranges it. وَذُو سُلْطَانَهُ, and He has authority over it. قَالَ تَعَالَى اللَّهُ خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Surah Zumar. Allah creates everything. Surah Zumar, verse 62. وَهَذَا الْعُمُومُ لَا مُخَصَّصُ لَهُ. This is in general. You accept this as a given fact. حَتَّى فَعَلَ الْمَخْلُوقِ مَخْلُوقٍ لِلَّهِ. So here we have to take this in one simple sentence. Allahu khaliq af'al al-ibad. Allah creates the deeds of His servants. Ibad is all of us. It doesn't just mean good, faithful believers. No, because we are ibad Allah, whether we like it or not. We're under His control, and at any moment He can switch it up on us, cause us to die, cause us to be deathly sick with cancer, cause us to disbelieve. Yes, He will cause us to disbelieve when He determines that we're not worth it. So you see, there's all of these points that when you first hear about them, you might not be able to understand them. So I'm going to repeat it here. لِيَنْفَعَلِ الْمَخْلُوقِ مِنْ صِفَاتِهِ. The deeds of all creation fall under the description Asma' Allah wa sifatihi, His characteristics. وَهُوَ وَصِفَاتِهِ مَخْلُوقًا. So all of these things are from Allah's creation. وَلِأَنَ فَعَلِهِ نَاتِجْ عَنْ أَمْرَيْنِ. Allah's things that He does, فَعَلِهِ, fall under two, يعني ناتج من الأمرين. Two things I'm going to tell you now. Amrain, affairs. Amr, affairs. And what are they? Number one, iradat jazima, a firm, staunch, unshakable will. Iradat jazima. And number 2, qudrat tama. And the ultimate complete power. These 2 things. You should write these down because this is really the essence of what we're talking about. And then I'll give you this last one and we'll be done. Wallahu huwa alladhi khalaqa fil insani iradat jazima wa qudra tama. If Allah wants you to have some of this, because you know Allah can give you whatever descriptives He wants to give you. وَلِهَذَا قِيلَ الْأَعْرَابِي بِمَا عَرَفْتَ رَبُّكَ. This person, he was a scholar, he was asked, how do you know your Lord? And he said, بِنَقْدَ الْأَزَائِمِ وَصَرْفَ الْهِمَمِ. Azaim means the majesty, the overwhelming grandeur, the just everything about Allah, Al-Aziz, His names, Al-Azim. You know He has 99 names, but he said he knows about Allah from this. And then Sarf al-Himam. Sarf is when you make something flow, like we say, tasrif al-riyah. Allah is the one who does the tasrif al-riyah. He makes it move, the clouds, the winds. And the last one, it's called here, the himam. The himam. So I'm going to close here and let you stop and think about people that are called genius. People that are special. Oh, who invented electricity? Was it Tesla? Well, Allah allowed Mr. Tesla to come up with electricity, but he's the one that invented it all. So don't be worried in these times that we're living in when they're, so-and-so, the enemy is going to shut down our grid. You see, they're speaking in terms that they don't know anything about Allah's majesty. They don't know a tiny bit about it because all they know are things like other religions like Buddhism and Hinduism. What else? We have Satanism now. They actually think, I saw a statue of Satan, one of the evil statues. I won't even say the name, I know it, but it's one of those, they're saying drinking children's blood and all this horror that's on the internet now. Please don't give it a second's thought. Because this statue that they worship, the goat head thing, he's doing this. It's like he's saying to you, good and evil, it's me, good and evil. What do we do as Muslims? We do this. Think about that now. I'm not telling you to go look at the foolish statue, but you're probably going to be seeing it frequently in these times. Because there is a major push to scare you. That's what he does. I told you before, he has 3 weapons: fear, anger, and sadness. You only need Allah, but you have to learn more about him. And that's why I chose for you in this special day, the end of Shahr Shaban, before we go into Ramadan, Qadr. Qada والقدر. They usually come in 2s. Qada is the actual event. The big, you could say the general headliner is the Qada. And then the Qadar are the details. So this chapter is called Munkari al-Qadar, people that deny the Qadar. The Qada, it's the dictate. It's like itself of what we're going to do with you now. We're going to put you in your place, which is much lower than you think you are. Because people have vanity. They're kibriya. Do you know if you have an atom's weight of vanity, you'll never get into the paradise? Did you know that? Mithqala dharra, a speck. But then how are you going to know how amazing Allah is if you don't learn the real stuff? Yes, we have fiqh. We're going to talk about how to go to the bathroom. I'm not putting this down, But I'm saying we don't have enough of Asma Allah. Asma Allah al-Husna wa sifatihi. And that's my specialty, which I'm going to go on and on as long as you'll bear with me. And I think you will, because I think right now you're already excited about learning more about Qadar. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.